guys, welcome back. I'm Maria Brown. Well, I hope you like blueberry pie because we're making that today. Come on, let's go. For those of you who love my pie, I'm going to show you how I make my crust. The first thing to know is that everything needs to be cold. It does not like humidity or a hot house, and everything should be cold. The butter should be cold, shortening. So I'm going to start with 2 cups of flour, half a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter. Unsalted butter is really better for baking. It's got a different consistency than salted butter. And 3 tablespoons of either margarine or shortening, and it should be chilled. Keep your shortening in the freezer. And then lastly, we need 1/4 cup of ice water. So this is very chilled water. I measure 1/4 cup, and then I put ice in it. Now we're going to start by putting the flour and the salt in the food processor. 2 cups of flour. We're going to add the half a teaspoon of salt, and we're just going to pulse this for a minute. And next, we're going to add the shortening. The consistency should look sort of like a meal, which is like a chunky flour. So this is chilled butter. Again, that's 1.5 sticks. If you don't have shortening or margarine, just go ahead and use all butter. Put that in. Turn that on for about 30 seconds. Okay, now we're slowly going to drizzle the water in through the top. Don't put the ice in, just cover that up so it doesn't go in. I want this to spin and turn into a ball. That's it. Now it's in a ball. So the next thing we do is just put this on wax paper or saran wrap and flatten it out. Try not to touch it much with your hands because the heat is going to ruin it. And then we're going to pop that in the refrigerator for at least an hour. You can use something like a rolling pin to flatten it out a little bit. Now this is enough for a double crust. Now we're just going to pop that right in the refrigerator for at least an hour. We're going to use 8 cups of blueberries. Wash them and pick over them. These are fresh blueberries. If you need to use frozen berries, they're going to be waterier and you're going to need a little more cornstarch. We're going to need a tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. So just take your lemon and just keep rolling it and then cut it and squeeze it. You'll get a lot more juice out of it that way. If you want to brighten up the flavor of the blueberries just a little more, you can also put a little bit of lemon peel right in there. I'm just gonna zest a little bit of that off of there. You only want the bright yellow part. You don't want the white underneath. Okay, so we're just going to start by crushing up about 1/2 cup of these blueberries. Let that juice drip right back in that bowl. To that, we're going to add 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Now remember, if you have frozen berries, add a little bit more, maybe an additional 1/8 cup. The lemon juice, that's 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and I got about a teaspoon of lemon peel. I'm going to put that in as well. We're going to mix this up really well. That's all that we put inside the pie. It's very few ingredients. Just get everything from the bottom, go all the way down, make sure that the sugar and the cornstarch is completely incorporated. Just set that aside until you're ready to roll out your dough. Now is the time to go and preheat your oven to 400 degrees. I'll put a little bit of flour on my rolling pin, and we're going to roll this out so that it's well past the size of the pie plate. The pie plate is deep, and we want some hangover because for this particular pie I'm making, I'm not using a top crust. It's going to cut down on calories and you're going to be able to enjoy it without feeling too guilty. Push from the center out. Try and get it even if you can. Let's measure. You need a little bit more. Very quickly push together any little cracks that you have in it before you re-chill it. One more time, maybe 30 minutes. Just gonna cut a little bit of that off. We're going to make an egg wash just with a large egg yolk and a tablespoon of heavy cream, but use whatever you have. If you don't have cream, use milk. You could even use water. Use that to baste on the outside of the pie crust. Now we're going to spoon the berries into the pie crust that's been chilled and then dot them with the 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Now we're just going to push these edges over, and then we're going to put the egg wash just on the crust. I'm going to just pop this in the oven just like this at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Then I will reduce the temperature to 350 for another 45 to 50 minutes. It'll be done when I see it really bubbling up from the inside. It'll be overflowing. It'll look delicious. Put that in the oven right on a baking sheet. You can line the baking sheet with parchment paper for easier cleanup. Once you've reduced the temperature to 350 degrees, about halfway through, rotate your pie. Now you can see, let's take a close look. We want that to bubble and be thickened. Right now it's just watery. So this has about 20 more minutes and then we'll check it again. Okay, that's 20 minutes longer. You can see how those juices are thickened and bubbled over. That's ready. Just pop that on a wire rack to cool. You can eat this today or just wrap it loosely and leave it on your counter for up to 2 days. The other thing you can do is pop it in your freezer and reheat it later when you're ready to use it. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you got anything out of it, give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Maria Brown.